In this demo, we're going to check out our new Pipes chat feature, which I'm super excited about. And here with me is Mike from Turbot to help us showcase the feature. Hey, Mike.
Hey Bob, how you doing?
Yeah, great. I'm super excited. This is a brand new way to work with your pipes or your cloud data. So behind the scenes, it's still SteamPipe and PowerPipe, FlowPipe, but this is a new interface just to ask natural language questions. So excited to get started. If you don't mind, why don't you just start out with a simple question and we'll take it from there.
Yes, as you mentioned, it's just natural language, so I'm able to just ask questions and get answers. So let's go ahead and ask one. Three buckets. Simple question. And now behind the scenes, it's gathering the information needed to actually answer that question using my SteamPipe data. So it can find the plugins, it can find the connections, it can find the columns for the connections, and ultimately craft a SteamPipe query to actually get the answer that we need.
And I'm sure that's actually something very helpful behind the scenes is that this is just SteamPipe with a chat interface on top of it. So all that translation, all that context about your environment is coming from SteamPipe.
That's correct, yeah.
And so like all the query examples, the schema documentation, that's probably going to help build the right context for this chat interface to be much more successful than maybe just using like a generic like MCP server or the CLI tools from these cloud vendors.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Here it looks like that question came back with a list of the S3 buckets. What is that an inline table or is that something that you can use and leverage?
So it's rendered the results in what we're calling a canvas here, inline. But ultimately, this is a downloadable artifact. So I can actually go ahead and open this up, get a slightly richer view with some familiar PowerPipe controls like filtering. And we also show you information such as the query that was used to gather this data. So, without having to know any SQL or no SteamPipe schemas, it's built me a query that can actually answer the question that I wanted. And as well as that, we have the ability to copy the query, copy the CSV data, download it, even run the query in my workspace, which is also very useful.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, especially being able to see the actual query that was used will help you verify that that is the correct query that you might want to bring forward into your repeatable patterns within SteamPipe or PowerPipe or FlowPipe. So that's awesome to see that background there. Plus all the logs that we're generating, so you can see the thinking behind the query.
Absolutely, you can see the journey it's taken with all its reasoning and how it got to the answer, which is really, really useful, especially as you get more complex questions coming through to see how it got there.
Okay, we got our S3 buckets. I mean, one of the benefits of chat is that kind of has this memory that then you can kind of build and work off of. So, okay, you got your S3 buckets here. What if, well, I guess it's actually asking you right here. It's that, do you want these buckets scanned for public access? So I guess you could just respond in kind, or you can take your own path and ask it to do something else.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things we've tried to do is get the model to be kind of useful, like suggest things like follow-on questions, like guide me through things that you probably would care about. And in this case, I think public access is a great example of that. So as you said, it's contextual. I can just say yes, as simple as that. And from that now, I'll be able to see which of those buckets are public. So you can see the steps it's going through here. Again, knowing all of the schemas within SteamPipe, it's able to identify those buckets. And now I have, again, another grid showing the buckets here.
The other columns are around the public accessibility, probably looking at the ACLs and the public access block settings. Yeah, that's great.
That's correct, yeah.
And of course, I guess you could just start working with the data, start refining it, whether in those PowerPipe filters or just asking it more questions to help you filter. One of the things I'd actually be interested in, if we could take this a bit further. So looks like we just started with Amazon, but I believe there might be like Azure and Google connections in here. So what if we expanded that out just to be multi-cloud?
We can absolutely do that. So let's ask the question. So I just asked it to include Azure and GCP. So now we'll find those additional connections, interrogate the schemas, build the queries, and ultimately give us the answer that we want.
That's great. Yeah, it's looking at Azure Storage Containers, you're looking at storage accounts there, it's looking at the storage buckets, looking at the IAM bindings and the ACLs.
Yeah, all of this without writing a single line of SQL yourself.
Yeah, that's great. And I think along the way, each of those are actual tables that you can expand upon if you wanted the table format. But in this case, it's building a summary document that you can then also work with. Is this also an artifact that then I can share around?
Absolutely. So this is streamed in as it became available, but equally I could copy that. It's marked down, so I can copy the document. I can view it here, download it as well. I've got all those options. Paste it into Slack, paste it into an email, whatever means that I want to actually share the data.
Okay, great. And then if I wanted just to maybe expand just a open-ended question, or I want to just build this into a summary report I could share with my team, can I just ask it at like a more of a generic question, or like just to say like build me a management report or something of that nature?
Absolutely. You can ask any question you want. So do you want me to try that in here?
Yeah, why not? Let's give it a try.
Go ahead now and build me the report. So as you mentioned before, it's contextual. It has all the prior context, the artifacts, the different tables that were generated along the way, and ultimately can feed those into the model and summarize them into a useful report that I can share with management.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then I'm sure you can start working with it to add different sections and things that you're looking for. And just like your chat experience with Claude or with OpenAI, this works very similarly. But the benefit here is that it has the context of your cloud environment. You can just chat with it, plus all the power of SteamPipe and PowerPipe and FlowPipe. It's really building on that ecosystem of being able to work with your cloud data. So super excited to see this chat interface. Really excited to see what our community is going to do with it. And thank you, Mike, so much for walking us through this.
Nice pleasure, Bob. We're really excited to get this in your hands.
Yeah, awesome. Well, for those who are new to Turbot Pipes, if you're interested in getting started, you can go to pipes.turbot.com. There's an always free developer tier. And if you're looking to work with your team in Pipes, there's a free trial for the team tier. Look forward to the next video. Thank you.
Bye.